सर आज हेमाली जी ने बताया कि वो फोन पे होगी. Should I share my screen? Do you want me to share my
Yeah,
screen?
yeah, I'm making you a host. Huh? Thank you.
Okay.
Roshni, where do you live?
Dallas.
Oh, I'm in Los Angeles.
I knew you were somewhere in the States. I didn't know which side. So,
Yeah.
मंगलमय मंगल करण वीतराग विज्ञान नमोता ही जाते भये हरिहंतादि महान करि मंगल करि हो महा ग्रंथ करन को काज जाते मिले समाज सब पावे निज पद राज. So today we are going to continue with the 8th chapter of Moksha Marg Prakashak. We were on to page number 422. Page number 422. So from there only we will start. So we have completed the A point. Now we are on to B point. We have marked the point B1, B2 like that.
I have not, sir.
Okay. So B1 is where we are going to start from. And once we finish this point, then we will discuss the B2 point. At that time, you can mark it out. So B1 starts from further in the Shastras at some places. From there it starts. And
422.
so this particular point states that one word, different meanings. Okay. One word, different meanings. In which sense it is used where, that you can understand from the context in which it is being said. Like, for example, darshan. Now, darshan in Samyak darshan is belief. Darshan in upyog, Gyan upyog and darshan upyog is samanya avlokan, general impression. Okay. And darshan in the senses means to see. So one word, three different meaning. So you have to see the context in which it is being said, and then you can arrive at the right meaning. Okay. Similarly, they have explained other words like shuksham and badar. Shuksham is subtle, badar is gross. So subtle and gross are two relative terms which are used in different senses in different places. Okay. So that is the second example. Third example is about the word pratyaksh. Pratyaksh means direct. Okay. So that pratyaksh also has two meanings. Similarly, there is word agyan that has also got two meanings. Then comes the word udirna. Okay, that has also got two meanings. So that we'll be reading through and you will understand two paragraphs we need to read. And Roshni, which starts with you only. Yeah.
Should I start from similarly?
No, next paragraph.
Okay. Further, in the Shastras, at some places, one particular word is used in one sense and at other places in another sense. By identifying the topic, one should understand its possible meaning. For example, the Samyak Darshan, or right belief, has been described in Liberation Path. There, the meaning of the word darshan is faith. And in the description of upyog, the meaning of the word darshan is perception of the general nature of the substance, and in the description of senses. The meaning of the word darshan is only to see through the eyes. And in the description about the measure or magnitude, etc., of the substances, the meaning of sukshma, subtle, and badar, gross, is to be understood as that which has smaller magnitude is called sukshma, subtle, and that which has bigger magnitude is called badar, gross. And in the description of matter molecules, etc., that which may not be perceivable by senses is called sukshma, and that which is perceivable by that which is That which is not perceivable by senses is called sukshma, and that which is perceivable by senses is called badar. In the context of the description of jivas or embodied beings, etc., that which automatically does not get obstructed without the instrumentality of supernatural power, etc., is called sukshma, subtle bodied jiv, and that which gets obstructed is called badar, gross bodied jiv. In the description of cloths, etc., the thin, not coarse, means sukshma or fine, and thick or coarse means badar, not fine. Further, the meaning of the word pratyaksh, direct knowledge, in worldly affairs is known directly through senses. In the divisions of praman, comprehensive knowledge, clear discernment is called pratyaksh. With reference to self-realization, etc., the state of being stationary of one's upyog in the self-soul is called pratyaksh. Further, for example, the misbeliever is said to be devoid of knowledge. So here one should not understand the total absence of knowledge. The absence of knowledge is stated from the viewpoint of true knowledge. For example, with reference to celestial beings, where the word udirna has not been used, there the meaning of the word udirna should be understood to be the death due to other instrumental causes. And with reference to the description of 10 karma or mode of karma, where udirna karma has been described to Devayu, age karma of the celestial beings, also, its meaning should be understood to be the throwing of upper nishek of karma in Udayavali. Similarly, one should know elsewhere. One should know elsewhere also appropriately.
Stop. So this is the end of first point, B1. As you have seen that words having different meanings used in different context. So you have to see the context and then put the meaning which is appropriate in that case. Okay. So this was the first point. Now the second point. Further, by prefixing some words before one particular word, only many kinds of meaning become evident, and the same word has different meanings. So again, here you have to see the context and find the meaning. Okay. So Amitaji, you read this point B2, one paragraph only.
Rajesh bhai, may I ask you a question, please?
Yes, yes.
So this word pratyaksh is sometimes, people look at it from different point of view. Like sometimes they say it's like with pratyaksh means with your own eyes,
Yes.
in person, right in front of you.
Yeah.
So would you kindly please explain that word to me?
So the pratyaks, like the example that you gave, in that case, like a murder has happened, right? So there in the court of law, pratyaks means I have seen it live, right? So that is the meaning over there. But in case of self-realization, the feeling of happiness that you experience, the feeling of bliss that you experience, that is called pratyaksh. Okay, that means swa samvedan pratyaksh.
Oh,
Okay?
I see.
Yeah. So pratyaksh has got different meanings in different context.
Right.
Okay.
Like they say pratyaksha sadguru samanai paroksha jina.
Yeah. So that again, pratyaksh is the same pratyaksh that we used in the code of law. Life, like you need a live guru. That's what they mean.
Thank you. Further, by prefixing some words before one particular word, only many kinds of meanings become evident, and the same word has different meanings. In whatever context, whichever meaning is suitable, the same should be known to be its meaning. For example, one who conquers is called Jina, conqueror, and in the context of religion, one who conquers the karma enemy is known to be the Jina. Hence, the meaning which is connotated by adding the word karma enemy before the word Jina is relevant. The other meaning is irrelevant. And for example, one who possesses life, sentience, is called Jiva, live being, where the description of life and death be from Vyavara, conventional point of view, There, one who possesses senses, etc., vitalities is called jiva. And where the description of the substances, etc., be from the nishchaya, real point of view, there, one who possesses the sentience, vitality is called jiva. Similarly, the word samaya has many meanings. For example, soul is samaya, all substances are samaya, time is samaya, unit of conventional time only is samaya, shastra is samaya, faith is samaya. In this way, out of several meanings, whichever is appropriate in the particular place, the same should be known to be its meaning. Further,
So who will decide this? What is appropriate? And
the
how do you,
context,
huh?
the
Okay, context, but the reader has to decide, no?
Yes, sir.
So it is our responsibility. So how do we get to know all these things? With practice, we can come to know that what is appropriate meaning here. Okay, that is only the practice only will help you to get that right meaning. Like, many a times in film songs or the poetries that we have read earlier. So in poetic language, the words, some terms are used in a different manner. Okay, but with regular practice, now you know that this means that, this means that. So with practice, you'll be able to identify the context in which it is being said, and accordingly the appropriate meaning also you'll be able to grasp. Right. Now B3, Madhuji. Further at some places.
Yes, sir. 1 minute, sir.
So here the word dharma is used. So dharma means religion, dharma means dharma dravya, right? So where we are using dharma as a religion or as a blissful state, it's a different than what dharma is used in the substance sense, like medium of motion. Dharma dravya is medium of motion. Okay. So at one place, it's the literal meaning, and the other place, it's the traditional meaning. So again, we have to find out where the literal meaning will be used and where the traditional meaning will be used. Okay. So again, this will come with practice, with readings. There is no shortcut to it. There is no formula to it. Okay. Continue, Madhuji.
Further at some places, B3 is it?
Right, B3.
Yes. Yes. Further, at some places, names, etc., are used from the viewpoint of the meaning of that word. At other places, name, etc., are used in a customary sense. Where names, etc., are used from customary point of view, one should not grasp their literal meaning, but whatever be its traditional meaning, the same should be accepted. For example, right belief, etc., has been described as dharma, religion. So, here the word dharma used in its true sense because dharma is that which causes evolution of blissful state in the soul, where the substance dharma either is described as dharma,
It is ether. Ether means medium of motion.
where the substance dharma, ether, is described as dharma. Here, the word dharma is used in customary sense. One should not grasp its literal meaning, but should understand that it denotes a substance of this name. Similarly, one should know elsewhere also. Further, at some places, the literal meaning of the word should not be accepted, but its purposeful meaning in that context should be grasped. For example, if somewhere something is described to be absent and its meager existence is found there, then one should not understand its total absence there, but should know that keeping in view its meager presence, absence has been described. For example, it is stated that true believer is devoid of attachment feelings, etc., etc. There, one should draw the meaning in the aforesaid meaning, manner, that is, presence of meager attachment, etc., is found. Further, the literal meaning of the word nokashya, quasi-passion,
No kashai, no kashai.
or naukashai, yes. Meaning of the word naukashai, quasi-passion, is the negation of passion. But this sense should not be accepted because here the purpose is to show that it is not a passion like anger, etc., but it is a minor type of passion. Therefore, the word naukashai is used. Similarly, one should know elsewhere.
Stop. So this is the fourth point. Okay. So some place the literal meaning of the word should not be accepted. Some place purposeful meaning should be accepted. All these are similar kind of examples being given. As I said, ki as you practice, you will come to know which word is being used in which sense. Okay. With little bit of thinking, you can make out. Okay. For example, it is stated that the true believer is devoid of attachment feeling. Now, true believer means a right believer, right? So at fourth stage, Anantanubandhi Kashai passion has gone off. Okay. But rest of the passions are there. But still at the fourth stage itself, we say that Gyani ke bhog nirjara ke hetu hai. Gyani nirasrav hai. Right? So a true believer or a right believer, even if he is enjoying the sensual pleasures, he is still incurring stoppage and dissociation of karmas. Okay. But that is not the case. It has to be understood in the right sense. Here it means they want to glorify the importance of right belief. That's why they are saying that even if a right believer, if he's into sensual pleasures, he's still having nirjara. But that is not the case. The amount of sensual pleasures that he's experiencing, that much bondage is there. But that bondage is of so low category that it has been ignored and said that no, there is no bondage. Okay. So these kind of meanings are always used here and there. Depending on the context, you have to get the meaning. Similarly, another example of no kashai. No kashai doesn't means negation of passion. No kashai means minor passions. Okay. So anger, pride, deceit, these are all major passions. And this no kashai is minor passions. That is what the word means. That's all. Now, the fifth point, yeah, B5 and B6, two points. We will take it simultaneously. Gia, you read. Gia is not there. So Rekha, you read.
Uh, further at some place, the description may be found with some logic, so that one should grasp its purpose. In Samayasar Kalash, it is stated that just like the example of washerman, until one's belief of renouncing the alien disposition is to put into practice, till then, this self-realization is evolved. So here the purpose is to show that the moment alien dispositions are renounced, the self-realization is evolved. In worldly affairs, if an act is accomplished, the moment someone comes, it is customary to say that though he did not come and yet this work was accomplished, such purpose only should be grasped here. Similarly, one should know elsewhere. Further, at some place, some quantity, magnitude, etc., are mentioned. So that one should not take the literal meaning, but should grasp its purpose. In Dhanavarna Shastra, it is stated in this era, only 2-3 sagacious persons, true believers, are found. So literally, only so many persons are not found there. But the purpose is to say that very few persons, true believers, are there. Similarly, one should know elsewhere. On this pattern, there are many more words used with different meanings. So the same should be known appropriately. Sorry. Contrary meaning should not be grasped.
Stop.
And
So stop. So there is the end of the B5 and B6. Okay. 6 points were there in the B category. So here again, we saw that the moment in the example of washerman, it's given in Samaisar Kalash number 29. It is just after Gatha number 34. Okay. Where it means that the moment you have this correct knowledge that this does not belong to me, the renunciation happens. Okay. So that's a way of expressing things. There is nothing wrong in it. You have to understand it in the right sense. Okay. Similarly, the moment he came and the work was accomplished. So we would say, though he did not come, yet the work was accomplished. But that doesn't mean that. It means that the moment he come and the work was accomplished. वो आया ही नहीं कि काम हो गया, है ना? That means वो आया और फिर काम हुआ. He came and the work was done, like that. So these are some of the meanings. Then the sixth one, again literal meaning and the purposeful meaning that is used in Jnanavarna Shastra. It is stated that there are 2-3 Samyak Drashtis right now, true believers, Samyak Drashti. So that doesn't mean 2-3, that means few people, that's all. Okay. So in this sense, there are many words used in different senses at different places. You have to see the context and take the appropriate meaning. Okay. If we don't take the appropriate meaning, then our belief will be wrong. Okay. That's the biggest loss. So we need to be very alert and aware what word is being said in what context, and accordingly we have to take the true meaning which it pertains to. Okay. So this one was done. Now C. In C, okay. So C1 starts with the example of a medicine. So we are going to have 4 examples of medicines. Okay. So C1 is 1, then C1, then C4, the second example of medicine is coming. Then the third example will come at C6, and fourth will come at C7. So out of 7 points, 4 are related to medicines. Okay. And then few are in other sense. But everywhere the instruction given is that just as a particular medicine is appropriate for someone, right? Same medicine may not be appropriate for another one. Like Amitaji got a fever with cold. Okay. So she went to the doctor and doctor gave her medicine. Now Roshni again got a fever, but she got a fever from heat. Okay. So if she takes the same medicine as Amitaji, so you also had a fever, I am also having a fever. So same medicine. No, that won't work. Okay. So similarly, we have to see. Then third example about the medicine is that the moment the disease gets cured, you should stop the medicines. If you still continue to have that medicines, then you will again suffer. Okay. So, so the instructions given in Jinvani, we have to adapt in our life in an appropriate manner. If we over exaggerate it, then also we will be harmful. And if we underestimate it, then also we will be harmful. We have to take it in the manner in which it is being prescribed. Okay. So this point is all C points are about that only. We will read one by one. So C1 again, Roshni, you start reading, and 3 paragraphs are there.
Yes. On this pattern, there are many more words used with different meanings.
That was over.
Yes, that is over.
Okay. And whatever be the sermons, by distinguishing it correctly, that which is found suitable to the self, the same should be accepted. For example, in the books on medical science, several medicines are described. One should know them, but he should take these medicines which might cure one's disease. If one is suffering from cold, then he should take that medicine only which produces heat, and should not take that medicine which produces cold. One should know that this medicine is useful for others, and not for himself. Similarly, One should acquire the knowledge of various preachings found in Jain Shastras, but should follow only such preachings which might remove his perversities. He should accept that preaching which contradicts the perversity which one has, and should not follow such preachings which support it. He should know that such preaching is useful for others. Some examples are cited here. In the Shastras, at some places, preachings supporting Nishchay or real standpoint are found, and at other places, those supporting Vyavahar or conventional standpoint are found. There, if one has the excessive leanings towards Vyavahar, then he should follow correct practice by accepting the preachings fostering the Nishchay or real standpoint, and if one has excessive leanings towards Nishchay, then he should follow correct practices by accepting the sermons fostering Vyavahar or conventional standpoint. Further, one may be already devoid of self-knowledge due to conventional faith. Afterwards, he may not make effort for gaining self-knowledge by giving prominence to conventional sermons only, or due to faith in Nishchay, real standpoint, one has become unrestrained by falling from renunciation, and afterwards, also by giving prominence to sermons based on real standpoint, he fosters the carnal pleasures. In this way, by following contrary sermons, harm alone is caused.
Stop. So this is C1. As you have seen that if somebody is more inclined on real point of view, then the acharyas will give him instructions from the conventional point of view. And somebody is more inclined towards the conventional point of view, then acharya will give instructions according to the real point of view. The idea is to come to a balance. Okay, we should not be inclined to anybody. We should take messages as they come, preachings as they come. And through the example of medicines also, they have also said the same thing, that in Shastras, many places, different kinds of preachings are given. And those, the purpose is to move the perversities. Okay, so one should accept that preaching which contradicts the perversity which one has, and should not follow such preachings which support it. So again, who will identify this and who will take this call? We have to take only this call. Okay, in Jinvani, the preachings are there, the instructions are given in different manners. Now we have to customize it according to our own requirement, right? Someone who is into very much studies of scriptures but doesn't sit for self-realization. For them, acharyas will say that only reading will not do. Sit for self-realization, sit for meditation. Okay, and somebody who's doing all the time meditations only but not reading, for them he will say you study only, right? So depending on the situation, acharyas give instructions in scriptures at different point of time, at different places. We have to understand those instructions in the right sense and adapt whatever is apt for us. Okay, accordingly we have to take action. This was the first point. Similar is the second point also. We have to understand the instructions in the right sense. Another example, C2. Further it is stated, Amitaji.
Further, it is stated in Atmanushasan that being meritorious, why do you indulge in blemishes? If you desire to become demeritorious, then why did you not become fully demeritorious? So, if a person be meritorious but may be having some blemish, then he should accept some preaching for removing that blemish. But if one is himself full of blemishes and by accepting such preachings wishes to defame meritorious persons, then he would harm himself only. It is not worse to have some blemish in comparison to one who is full of blemishes. Therefore, such a person is better than yourself, a person full of blemishes. Further, here it is stated, why do you not become full of blemishes? So, this is just a logical argument. This sermon is not meant for encouraging someone to become full of blemishes, but If a meritorious person is criticized because of some blemish, it should be known that only the Siddhas, non-corporeal omniscients, are totally free from blemishes. In the lower spiritual stages, such merit or some demerit,
Some
some
merit and
merit
some demerit.
or some demerit is always to be found. Someone may say here, if this be so, then why is it stated in the Shatpaud that after accepting monkhood, if one keeps the slightest possession, then he also goes to Nigod, that is, host sold one sense beings? Answer. By accepting higher spiritual status, if one indulges in some such mean practice, which is not possible in that status, then, due to breach of vows, etc., it involves himself in great sin, and one should know that in the lower spiritual status, where some such merits and demerits are possible, it is not desirable to highlight his demerits. Further, it is stated in Updesha Siddhant Ratnamala, even the anger of the preacher who gives sermons according to the Jina's commandment is a treasury for forbearance. But this sermon is not meant for the discourser. If, on the basis of this sermon, the discourser continues to indulge in anger, then he would harm himself only. This sermon is meant for acceptance by listeners, sometimes even being angry if the discourser gives a true sermon, then too the listener will treat it to be beneficial only. Likewise, one should know elsewhere.
Stop. So this is C2 and C3. C3 was the last paragraph that about Updesh Siddhant Ratnamala. Okay. Before that, all three paragraphs belong to C2. Here again says that we have to understand the language in which the preachings are being made. Being meritorious, why do you indulge in blemishes? Okay. If you desire to become demeritorious, then why did you not become fully demeritorious? Now, this is a way of expressing things. That doesn't mean that the instructor wants you to become fully demeritorious. Okay. It is being said to encourage you to leave blemishes and be meritorious. Okay. So in this way, the instructions are given. And if a meritorious person is criticized because of some blemish, it should be known that only the Siddhas are totally free from blemishes. In the lower spiritual stages, some merit or some demerit is always to be found. Okay. Again, given an example from Shatpaud that even if a monk keeps a small piece of possession with him, he goes to Nigod. Now, Nigod means infinite birth and death over there in the one sense. Okay. So, how much like such a great punishment for keeping just a minor possession? Yeah, because they want to highlight that what a true monk should be. Even if he keeps a small kind of possession, he will get this punishment. So the monks are encouraged not to keep any possessions. Okay, this is the right sense in which the quotation was given. So here answer, by accepting higher spiritual status, that means you have become a monk. If one indulges in some such mean practice, which is not possible in that status, then due to breach of vows, etc., he involved himself in great sin. And one should know that in the lower spiritual status, where some such merits and demerits are possible, it is not desirable to highlight his demerits. Okay. But if a monk does such a small blemish also, it will be highlighted and said that this would lead you to Nigoth, just to discourage them from getting into any kinds of blemishes. Third point, similarly in Updesh Siddhant Ratnamala, even the anger of the preacher, okay, even the anger of the preacher who gives sermons according to Jina's commandment is a treasury of forbearance. Okay. Treasury of forbearance means Shama ka Bhandar. Okay. This is applicable to the listener. Okay. This instruction is given that even the anger of the preacher is considered a treasury a treasury of forbearance, because the preacher is manifesting anger just to not to get you into passions or any other kind of defects. Okay. But if the basis on this sermon, the discoursers continues to indulge in anger, that a preacher is permitted to do anger, then it's a wrong understanding. This instruction was given to the listener that even if the instructor scolds you, you should take it that it's just a compassion. He is having a compassion on you. That's why he's scolding you, to just remove your blemishes. Okay. But if the discourser, if the preacher takes that quality in him that, oh, I am permitted to do anger, then it's a wrong understanding. Okay. So this was the meaning of this point. Now, the fourth point coming up, C4, 2 paragraphs, and then C5 and C6. Okay. So we will do first 2 paragraphs for the point number C4, and then we will move on to C5. Rekha, 2 paragraphs, C4. Further intents. Okay, Madhuji, you read.
Yes.
Reading unmuted. Okay, sorry, sir.
Oh,
So I thought you are not there. So Madhuji, you read now.
okay. Further, intense heat producing medicines are prescribed for the persons suffering from cold, typhus. If one is suffering from heat or from minor cold, takes such medicines, then he would become miserable only. One, for, for one who has excessive prominence of some activity, the discourse may be given with great emphasis for its contradiction. If a person who does not have the prominence of such act or has little prominence follows such sermon, then he would harm himself only. For example, someone has very great liking for study of Shastras and does not make effort for self-realization. For such person, too, much study of Shastras has been negated. But a person who does not study the Shastras or studies Shastras rarely, if gives up study of the Shastras by such preachings and does not engage his upyog in self-realization, then he would harm himself only.
Stop. So again, second example of medicine. If one is suffering from heat or minor cold, takes the medicines that has been prescribed for the person who has suffered from extreme cold, then he would become miserable only. Okay. So what medicines the doctor prescribes depends on many symptoms, the cause of the disease. There are many factors to it. Okay. It is not the same for everybody. Similarly, the instructions given are not the same for everybody. Okay. Depending on our own merits and demerits, on our own eligibility, on our own efforts. Okay, seeing all these, the efforts are recommended. So it's not the same for everybody. So we have to take it according to our own judgment and our own looking at our own self eligibility at that point of time. Okay. Now the fifth point. One paragraph only. Further, for a person who strongly believes religion to consist in committing injury through the act of oblation, yag, you know. So in a yag, one sensed beings are being killed because fire is a one sense being, right? So we don't recommend doing yag, okay? So if a person strongly believes religion to consist in committing injury through the act of oblation, religious sacrifice and bathing, etc., the preaching is, even if the earth gets turned upside down, no auspicious fruit can result by committing injury. Okay? But if a jiva who accumulates lots of punya by practicing act of worship, okay, etc., in which some injury is also caused, gives up worshipping. Why he is giving up worshipping? Because in while doing puja also, some act of violence is done, right? But since he heard the instruction that if the earth gets turned upside down, no auspicious fruit can result by committing injury. So that was for some person who was doing injury in a gross sense, like doing yag and all. But if you are doing puja, there you are although causing minor violence, but the fruits are more than that act of violence. Okay. So one should not leave the worshipping, okay, by following such preachings, and does not adopt injurious practices like samaik, etc. Okay. So if you are giving up worshipping, then you get into samaik. Okay. But you are giving up worshipping, you are not getting into samaik, then you will go into inauspicious sentiments only. Okay. And that's a great harm for you. Okay. So depending on where you stand, what is the way ahead, accordingly you have to adapt the instructions. Okay. It is not the same for each and everybody. Now the sixth example. Again, this is an example of medicine, and seventh is again an example of medicines. Okay. So 6 and 7 we will see. First we will see the 6, which is of 2 paragraphs. Rekha, you read.
For example, some medicine might be potentially effective, but one should continue taking it so long as it is beneficial to oneself. If even on mitigation of cold, one continues to take heat producing medicine, then it would rather cause the disease. Similarly, there is some religious activities, but one should continue its practice only till such time it benefits the self. If even on if even on revolution of higher spiritual status, one continues observance of the religious practice pertaining to lower spiritual status, it would rather cause harm only. Further, for example, religious practices like pratikraman, etc., are advised for eradicating sin. But if even after self-realization one indulges in those thoughts of pratikraman, etc., then it would rather increase perversity. From this very point of view, Pratikaman, etc., have been stated to be poison in Samasar. Further, the religious activities like the glorification, etc., are advised to be followed by a voveless person. If even on becoming a votary, one indulges in these activities, then he would assuredly get bondage of vicious karmas only. How is it justifiable for a votary to become controller of the activities like managing temple, etc., after giving up activities like business, etc.? Similarly, one should know elsewhere also.
Stop. So this is the end of the sixth point. In sixth point, that some medicine might be potentially effective, but one should continue taking it so long it is beneficial to oneself. Even if on mitigation of cold, one continues to take heat producing medicine, then it would rather cause the disease. Okay. So the medicines are prescribed up to a certain limit. Once you get cured, you should stop that medicine. If you still continue to take that medicine, then you will get into another kind of disease. Similarly, there is some religious activity, but one should continue its practice only till such time it benefits the self. Even on evolution of higher spiritual status, one continues observation of the religious practice pertaining to lower spiritual status, it would rather cause harm only. Okay. So what is one working at one level may not be working at another level, right? So you have to keep on moving on, right? You cannot have the same instructions. 5 years ago, your thought process was different. Today it's different. So many of your myths have been busted. So now you have more clarity in the nature of religion. So now you will be recommended in a different manner, right? So you don't do doing the same things over and over again. Although you may do the same things, but with a different perspective. Okay. So things keep on changing, and you also accordingly have to adapt the instructions which is appropriate to you. Example, religious practices like Pratikaman. Okay. So Pratikaman is very good at one stage, but even after self-realization, if you still keep on doing Pratikaman, then it is cause of perversity. It is cause of increasing perversity. Okay. So at one point it is applicable, good. At another level, it is not applicable, not good for you. So who will decide? We only have to decide. Okay. So whatever instructions are given in Jinwani that are given in a particular scenario, and it is valid in that scenario only. When you are out of that problem, then you no longer adopt those approaches. Okay. So it's the responsibility of the seeker to see what benefits him, right? It's not the traditional that it is written, so you have to keep doing. No. Every ritual in Jainism has a meaning to it. Okay. If you understand that meaning, then you will adapt it in the right sense. Otherwise, you keep on doing some activities without knowing what is the purpose. Now here in Parmagam Honors course, okay, this course we are putting more emphasis on practical Jainism, right? So your theory is support for that practical knowledge. Now you keep on doing only theories and don't apply it in practical, then it doesn't make sense, right? So similarly, you have to accept instructions in the manner where it gets reflected in your day-to-day life, and with that reflection, you are able to remain peace, calm, happy in those adverse moments. That is the purpose. So you have to you have to adapt those principles in that manner. Okay. Further, the religious activities like the glorification are advised to be followed by a volunteer person. Okay. Even on becoming a votary, one indulges in this activity, then he would assuredly get bondage of vicious karmas only. Example, constructing a temple is a good activity for a householder. But even after becoming a monk, if you are doing that activity, then it is not advisable. It's a cause of bondage for you. Because at a monk level, you have to just get into meditation, nothing else. Okay. So what is applicable at one level, when you attain a higher level, then the same thing may not apply. Now all these you have to only understand, and accordingly you have to act. Okay. However, is it justifiable for a votary to become controller of the activities like managing temple, etc., after giving activities like business, etc.? Similarly, one should know elsewhere also. So now we are coming on to the last point. This is again an example of medicine, 7th point, and 2 paragraphs, and there we will close. And maybe tomorrow we will again connect, okay, and we will finish this chapter. Okay, so tomorrow same time we will connect at 8:30, another 1 hour. Yesterday I was having loose motions, so I am short of strength today, so I have kept the class for 1 hour only. Okay, and tomorrow we will finish it up. Okay.
सर संडे का क्लास नहीं होगा फिर?
नहीं, I will cancel that class.
ओके
That will be postponed to next week.
ओके
Okay.
Yes.
So the last point, Madhuji, you only read. Further, the medicines.
Yes, sir. Further, the medicines
1
like
minute. Gia is again there. Gia, you
Yes,
read.
sir. Sorry, I was outside. Yeah.
No problem, no problem. You read this point, 7th point.
One second, I'm on my phone. Some further the medicines.
Yes, yes.
Okay. Further, the medicines like elixir, etc., are invigorating, but if a person suffering from fever takes them, then great harm would be caused. Similarly, practice of high religion is very beneficial, but if without the removal of one's passional dispositions, one adopts such high religious practices, then it would cause great harm only. For example, if one has not freed himself from inauspicious passions and adopts the ambiless state of upyog, then it would rather uh, increase his passions. Further, if a person who is engrossed in sensual pleasures like taking food, etc., adopts religious practices like renunciation of worldly occupations and possessions, then it would rather cause harm only. Further, if one has not renounced the perverse activities like indulgence in business and adopts religion in sanctimonious forms of renunciation, then great harm would be caused to him. Similarly, one should know elsewhere also. Likewise, after true deliberation and understanding the true sense of preachings, one should adopt the same. Enough details have been considered so far. In fact, one evolution of right knowledge, one himself perceives the real sense of preachings. The sermons, preachings are in the form of words, and through words, several meanings cannot be explained simultaneously. Therefore, the preachings are generally given with the prominence of one meaning only.
Okay. So this is the end of the C7. Then we will do D1. Okay. Tomorrow. So further, like medicines like elixir. What is this elixir? Elixir is a healing potion. Okay. Etc. Are invigorating, means rejuvenating, energizing. But if a person suffering from fever takes them, then great harm would be caused. Although that medicine has got many good things in it, but if you are having a fever and if you take that medicine, then that great harm would be caused. Similarly, practice of high religion is very beneficial. But if without the removal of one's passional dispositions, okay, one adopts such high religious practices, then it would cause great harm only. For example, if one has not freed himself from inauspicious passions, okay, and adopts rambleless state of upyog, nirvikalp, okay. So basically this is done at the monk stage. So if your inauspicious passions are still not removed, okay, and if you adopt monkhood, then what would happen? You would rather increase your passions, because at the monk level, whatever um, uh, whatever the uh, hardships that you have to go through, the monk are capable of that. That's why they become a monk. But if you have not attained that state and you have become a monk, then on the contrary, you will be increasing your passions only. Okay. You will not be able to sustain that stage, right? So, uh, so you should not do such things. Further, if a person who is engrossed in sensual pleasures, like taking foods, etc., adopt religious practices like renunciation of worldly occupation and possession, okay, then it would rather cause harm only. Okay, you are not still, your stage is not that. Even if you can't stay without a mobile, you can't stay without a TV, and you become a monk, then what you would do? Okay, so you should not adopt such practices. Depending on your stage, there is no harm if you are not taking any of the vows. But taking vows and then not observing in the right sense, it will create a harm, it will create a inauspicious bondage in you. Okay, so you have to be very alert and aware what you are going through, what is your stage. The instructions given in the book are at one level. What is your level? Accordingly, you have to adapt those instructions, right? So this requires a lot of contemplations, okay, and lot of maturity also. As you read more, as you practice more, this maturity creeps in, and then you are able to take the right call at the right time. Okay, so we have to adapt such manner. Further, if one has renounced the perverse activities like indulgence in business, etc., and adopts religion in sanctimonious means hypercritical form of renunciation, then great harm would be caused to him. Okay, you have not given up activities like business and you are getting and becoming a monk, then you will do more harm. Okay, so we have in recent times we have seen many Babas being prisoned like Asharam Bapu. Then there was one more Ram Rahim. They are all in jails now. So they proclaim themselves to be, religious leaders, preachers, and all, but they were doing wrong activities. Okay, in the disguise of a religious preacher. Okay, so those sins, when the sins become very of great, when the great sins are accumulated, then ultimately its rise comes. And when its rise comes, all your wrongdoings gets exposed, and that's why they are jailed. Okay, so there is nothing wrong in not taking up any vows. Okay, so but when you take a vow, then you do it very diligently, okay, and not negligently. So now the conclusion. Likewise, after true deliberation, now this is very important. True deliberation and understanding the true sense of the preachings, one should adopt the same. Enough details have been considered so far. In fact, on evolution of right knowledge, one himself perceives the real sense of preachings. Okay. The sermons are in the forms of words, and through words, several meanings cannot be explained simultaneously. Therefore, the preachings are generally given with the prominence of one meaning only. Okay. And that you have to adapt. So we keep up to here, and then we will continue tomorrow from page number 429. Okay. Any questions for today? You are understanding, Jia?
So
Okay.
I'll have to watch the entire class and I'll ask
Yes.
you questions. Yeah.
No problem. No problem. But you attend live class only, because once you miss out, no, you miss out the whole atmosphere in the class, and then individually doing it takes a lot of hard work, So it is better you attend the classes live, and then little bit of follow-up will do. Okay?
Yes.
Okay. Nij
Where
nidhi.
oh,
Pardon.
sorry.
Yeah.
Sorry, sir. Where does B3 end, sir? Because I can
1
take
minute.
it. And B4 starts.
B3, no?
Yes, sir.
1
It is
minute.
in page 423.
Yeah. B3 starts at the last paragraph.
Further.
Further at some places, names, etc. Okay.
Yes, sir.
And it ends with that paragraph itself on page number 24.
Okay.
Similarly, one should know elsewhere also.
Yes, sir. Then B4.
Before that line, that it denotes a substance of this name. Similarly, one should know elsewhere also. Okay. So here
Yes.
the B3 ends and B4
Yes.
starts. Further
Yes.
at some places, the literal meaning, that is
Yes.
B4.
And that paragraph one.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Anything
Thank
else?
No, sir.
Okay.
Thank
ठीक
you,
है.
sir.
या निज निधि निज में बताई, यह अनंत उपकार है उसके लिए, जिन वाणी माँ को वंदना सत बार है उसके लिए, जिन वाणी माँ को वंदना सत बार है. 9 times नमोकार मंत्र.